Greetings, Patrick here. 8 questions with have Cheetah will view. Welcome to the show. We are ready to rock and roll with a very busy week here on 8 questions with. And for some reason, my phone holder is decides it wants to go poo on me. Oh, that's not good. All right. Well, hopefully it'll. Okay, still hanging in there. All right. So we are back. Um, First of all, we gotta go. We gotta give a shout out to our good boy, our good friend, our fellow knight, John from Horror with Haas. That's my boy right there. He came out there and crushed it with his first IAC midnight film. He picked for us last night. We watched and deep dived 2013's The Den. Wow, what a corker of a movie! Whew. That was a good one. That was really, really good. Really enjoyed that quite a bit. And like I said, that was Haas's first film, and it was an amazing pick. I do have a playlist, it's IFC Midnights, and you can go over there and you can catch all 25 of our shows there. I know we got 25 shows already in. That's like 2 years. We've been doing it for 2 years. Um, we gotten 25. We've reviewed 25, or actually, yeah, reviewed and talked about 25 IFC Midnight Show. Ah, it's so cool. But tonight, on the other hand, we are talking with actress Natalie Denise Sperl. She is one of the co-stars of the film Night of the Caregiver. Hey, Steven, what's going on, my man? All right, Joseph is here. Anthony is here. All right, we are here for fun. Uh, so we are talking to Natalie Denise Sperl, Night of the Caregiver. I watched it as a watch party. That was my very first watch party. Me and the Cheetah did. We watched Night of the Caregiver. So that should tell you all you need to know about that movie right there. We picked that one to be our first watch along. We could have picked out any one of all these different movies to watch, but we picked Night of the Caregiver because we really liked it. Um, it's a lean, mean, well-directed machine. Um, and Natalie Denise Sperl was really, really good in this, on a lot of different levels too. First, including playing a hospice nurse. I have a special fondness for any actress that plays a hospice nurse and does it well. I sort of have a soft spot for that, considering that I've seen my fair hospice nurses. Um, and yes, she played an excellent nurse, by the way. I'm glad you guys are here. Hey, I see our friend Steven Sheets is here. We have a musical guest tonight, Steven. I'm glad to say that not only is Natalie Denise a fine actress, but she also leads the rock band Kill My Coquette. I hope I'm saying that right. Kill My Coquette, and her and her band have a Spotify page, which I will drop down so you can go ahead and check Natalie Denise out. Let's see. So there's her Spotify page. So if you guys can go over there and check it out and listen to her music, by all means, she has a definitely. Let's see. And Joseph mentioned he was talking about Danielle Harris in your stream. I think your Danielle Harris is my Haley Bennett, Joseph. Uh, I feel with you. I feel with you. I like to talk to Daniel Harris again. That was fun. That would be fun. But guess what happened, boys and girls? Guess what happened today? On today, um, we get to talk because the strike is over. The strike is over. It looks like our writers and our actors have settled on a contract. I really truly think that they got what they wanted. I don't think the studios. I don't think the studios could really afford to stay out there as long as they could. A lot of these movies were going without any publicity at all, and they were taking a beating. Movies like The Expendables 4, $100 million budget, and you can't get any of your stars to promote the movie because they're not allowed to, because you won't take care of them. So yes, I do believe it's going to be I do believe it's going to be the actors too. I do believe. I can't see the writers breaking solidarity. I really would hope that they need to stay united. Um, I think if you yeah, you need to stay united. Like if you do what you do for us, you do for them as well, because they really do same the same problems. They do have to battle the same problems with AI. Um, you know, AI could easily replace a writer just as much as they can replace an actor. So they have to be united. I really don't think it'll be in anybody's best interest for one to settle without the other. And I don't think this would have lasted. I don't think this would have lasted. The strike would have lasted this long if the directors had actually not signed so early. If they had all presented a united front saying these are our concerns, and you can't even go boo without us. I think what they would have gotten it done a long time ago with a much better with a much longer contract, a lot more protections. But unfortunately, the directors did settle early, and that's why we got such a long strike. Um, but even so, uh, you know, it's you still need the actors. You got let's just say for the hell of it that you got the actors, the writers back, and that's it. You still need the actors. What are writers without actors, right? Um, so let's see. Anthony says that hey Stephen Chang, how are you, sir? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. I am talking with Jessica, by the way. Think we're gonna put something together. Let's see. And Anthony says that he was on Echo Stream for an hour 2 days ago. That's great, Anthony. You went out there for an hour. That's awesome, dude. So that's right. And me and Anthony will be doing our second interview on November 4th. That's right. He will be my only interview that I do in November. I am taking a break. So October, I'm doing October, and then November, doing one show with Anthony, and then I am out of here for a break. I'm leaving the playing field to Stephen and Echo. Let's see. Our condolences to Echo on the loss of his beloved cat. He lost his cat today. Really sorry about that, Echo. That really, really sucks. Um, Man, I did not know how sick your cat was, my friend. I did not know that. I would have helped you out with that. And also, David McCallum passed away today. Many of you may remember him as Ducky on NCIS, but as older farts like myself, we remember him from A Man Called Uncle. That's right, from the 60s. And I got to watch him during the 70s. When I watched repeats of The Man from Uncle, he played Russian's assassin Ilya Kirkinson. And also he played, and he also co-starred with Robert Vaughn. And there is Anna. Anna was on a roll today. I hung out with her live stream, and Anna was troll hunting. Anna was troll hunting. I didn't know Canadians could get off that way, but boy, you know, she's like, "I'm going to kick your ass." Excuse me, you know, she's saying it very politely. I'm going to pound you. Excuse me, sorry, but I'm going to pound you. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, I guess even tarot card readers have distractors, have trolls. Who knew, right? I would have told Anna, well, didn't you see her coming? But I was afraid to say that because then I was afraid Anna would just clobber me. So, uh, all right, fun. So super excited for like I said, Natalie Denise Sperl. We got her for a solid hour. She has now that the strike is over, I'm sort of glad we got her at all, to tell you the truth, because I'm thinking everybody is racing at the plate, ready to rock and roll. So I'm sure as soon as as soon as tomorrow comes, it's going to be on like Donkey Kong. Um, Maybe so. Could someone double check with me on that? Is it just the writers, or is it the writers and the actors? I thought it was both, but maybe someone can come correct with me on that. Let me know. All right, so let me tell you what's coming up here on the old show. Um, First of all, I gotta say this. I gotta say this because this is gonna be a lot of fun, and hopefully, you guys. Hopefully, I'm gonna have the banner out today for it. Um, but I am interviewing a gentleman who's going to be running for the office of the President of the United States. That's right. I'm interviewing a gentleman who signed up and he declared his presidency, and he is running for to be president. Now, there are a lot of people. Is it a major name? No, no. But you don't have to be a major name in order to get your voice out there, right? He's a Democrat from California, and him and I talked for about a half hour today, and he's very, very serious, and he's serious. It's a serious candidacy. I didn't know so many people signed up to run. I really didn't. I did not realize that until I was doing my background, that there are a lot of people who run for president in every election, every presidential election. I mean, I've known some that are, like fringe candidates that are out there for publicity. They're out there for a gag, like, somebody dressed up like a clown and saying, I'm running for president because, and I'm not clowning around. You get those fringe guys all the time, but there are a lot of serious people that do file to run for president. And, they know they have no chance of winning. They understand that, but they just want to get out there just to be able to make themselves heard and make themselves, like, hey, maybe there is something out there that's different than what you expect. Who says that we have to vote for Joe Biden, right? Who says that? There's other Democratic candidates out there. I mean, Joe Biden, is he the best man for the job? No, no, not really. Is Kamala Harris the best one for the vice president? No, no, not really. So these are just their way of getting themselves out there and getting their voice heard. So we will be talking to the gentleman. His name is Larry Azito. We'll be talking to him on October 17th at 8 o'clock. It's going to be a good show. All right. Let's see. Garrett Tidball said she get with you, but she is restricted to an hour. She is right now doing a show, so she'll get back to me for you. That's fine. I can do an hour, Stephen. I can pop her on a weekend. We could do a show on the weekend. I have no problem doing that. All right. Our guest is here. The doorbell rang. Probably in this case a guitar. Ding. So please help me welcome our guest, the lovely actress and singer Natalie Denise Sperl. Here we go. Ta-da! Yeah. Whoa. That's right. Wait, get a mosh pit going. Now. How am I saying your last? How am I saying your band's name? Is it Kill Your Coquette?
Kill My Coquettes.
Okay, Kill. Okay, so do you have a lot of moshers when you guys rock and roll?
We're getting more each show. Yeah, and stalkers. Funny enough, which is
Well,
always
that comes with territory.
yeah. So sometimes the stalkers. Well, no. Sometimes the moshers turn into the stalkers, and then sometimes it goes the other way too. But usually it's stalkers turn into moshers. Does that make sense?
I have the solution for you,
Okay.
and I do speak from experience about this.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Stalker or mosher?
Handler.
Okay.
Handler. I was a talent buyer for 10 years in California.
Okay.
So when you go in there and you have stalkers and you see them, you go to your talent buyer and you sit there and say, yeah, see that Yahoo over there? That person there is stalking me, has been known to stalk me. And then what he'll do is he'll turn around, take one of his best coolers and tell them to see that guy over there, be his shadow. Wherever he's going, you go. When he goes to the bathroom to unzip to go to the bathroom, have your guy there ready to hold. Be honest, hold his dick for him, because I hate stalkers and I never let them bother my talent ever.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry that happened, but that means I guess that is the price for success, though, right?
Well, that's a literal definition of a handler. right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a stalker who was actually stalking my very favorite singer I ever booked in 10 years, and she had a stalker, and she came and played for me and told me. And my first reaction was I turned to my best guy, and I was gonna have him I was gonna say I was gonna just have him just take him outside. But she said, unless he does or says anything, could you just watch him? So that's what I did. I just put my best guy on him, and I said, just whenever he turns around, I want him to see you. That's the only thing I want him to see is you. And honestly, about an hour into it, he left. Couldn't take it.
Yeah.
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 Um.
They're never hot though. It'd be different. It's like, okay, if they're hot, it's like, oh yeah, I don't really mind. It's not really stalking. It's like what happens when they're cute. Like it's like, no, it's cool. You can come in.
I don't know. I don't know if you would. I don't. I don't. Well, especially now that you've actually done a horror movie and Night of the Caregiver, I don't necessarily think you want to open that door to craziness, because you never know what you might be on the other side of that door, right?
Bring it on! I dare you. Bring it.
Oh my gosh, that rocks.
Show the horse.
Love the movie. Love the movie. I thought you did an outstanding job.
Thank you.
I thought you portrayed Juliet with a lot of class and dignity. So did you follow any nurses to prep for the role? Did you shadow any nurses at all on any level?
I didn't, but I do remember I got to pick out my own wardrobe. So I had a budget and I got to go and shop for the wardrobe essentially. And I remember going to one of those costumes, or not costume, uniform store, and then there was a bunch of different nursing stores. And, I was like, well, I wanted to be I want to be cute if possible, I don't want to look too medical, whatever that means, I don't know. So I entered this whole world of nursing, scrubs. I had no idea what all this whole, and they've got all these amazing cool styles. It's they got patterns that, because I was thinking, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be awful. I'm going to wear some frumpy old, blue thing or whatever. And I had a blast because I got to try on all these and ooh, and it's okay, that's too much, or that's, but they're kind of more fun patterns, at least from what I was thinking they'd be, which is kind of cool. If you're a nurse, you're taking care of somebody. They don't want to just, it's it brings them a little bit of joy, or, it's there's all these different styles, and you can be cute too,
Sure, even there's no reason why you can't. I definitely know what else you bought with your wardrobe. You bought new tennis shoes, because those things were brand spanking new on your feet. I saw that. I'm like, those are some new kicks she's wearing there.
Those shoes were so fun. Yeah, they were a laugh. I think they have their own credit at the end of the movie. I mean, they literally were the subject of we were laughing about those nurse shoes.
They were, they showcased, right? They actually showcased how tiny your feet were. You had tiny feet. I was like, wow, those are really cute. Because you just got tiny feet. That's the things you pick up when watching a movie. You mentioned something though, and it's something I was gonna I gave you credit for, and I still am giving you credit for. You mentioned there's no such thing as for me to look, nothing to say that I can't look cute. You're right, but I got to be honest with you, Natalie. Is it Natalie or Natalie Denise?
Well, Denise is my middle name. The first big film I did with Jackie Chan, Around World 80 Days, I had a part in that. And that was kind of the first really, really big credit I had. And I just decided to go by Natalie Denise Sperl. Just put my whole name. So now I'm married to that, for better or worse. So now I gotta, because you want to keep.
We can call you Natalie for short. We could do
perfect.
That.
Yeah, okay. Perfect.
One thing I have to sit there and tell you what I really liked, and I've seen my fair share of hospice nurses, unfortunately, but what I really liked about your look is it shows on your face the stress that you've gone through. I love the fact that it did. You did look like you worked a 14-hour shift. And it did look like you were driving the for that, to drive it to the house. You you I thought it was brave, and I think it shows dedication to the role that you didn't go up there all glammed up like a lot of performers would have. A lot of actors was, can I get some lipstick on or what? You came in there like you just came from a hospital, and then during the course of the night, the house the stress of what was going on shows on your face, and
Yes,
it
that's interesting. Thank you.
yes.
That's
I thought it was really, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was brilliant. Like, I'm believing you. The viewer sitting there going like, "Holy shit, this girl's in trouble."
yeah.
This is exciting. This is scary.
Yeah,
um,
I think I slept in those scrubs. I think for the whole shoot. I think I think we worked so late sometimes, and I had to be up so early. I was like, I was exhausted. I think I just fell asleep a couple times in those scrubs. So I did actually probably literally live and breathe those and work in those scrubs.
yes.
Yeah,
You know what? Yeah. Why am I not surprised at that? That's dedication.
it was
Um,
kind of fun too when I left the set a couple times, and I had the scrubs on, and I went to a store or the gas station or whatever, and I kind of felt like I got like instant respect. I'm
I was
like,
going
that's
to ask you.
why does it feel like weird? Like people are like, oh, and then I was like, oh, it's because of when I'm my scrubs. I'm like, they really think, it's like, are they going to ask me medical questions? Like, what MD? Like, I'm not gonna, it's like, and do I play along with it? Like, I'm like, yeah, I probably
Yeah.
should.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one. And neither the caregiver.
Yeah. So
uh, So let's rewind, because we're not done with a caregiver or a coquette, because we're gonna be back. But we do got to go back a little bit, because we're gonna find out where you came from. How did you get started in your dual career of gorgeous actress and kick-ass rock and roller?
thanks you. I'm from the Midwest, from Minnesota, and I knew at maybe 5 years old I wanted to be a movie star. So that was like number one, like, obsession. So I was like, all right, I got to figure out, do I go to either New York or LA or London or what? So that was like my first big dream, and I started modeling to kind of make that happen locally around Minneapolis, stuff like that. And then I moved to London, and I worked in Paris modeling there, and Milan and Rome. Um, and then I was like, okay, I want to be an actor more seriously. I better get to LA. So then I moved to Hollywood and did all of that. And I've always loved music. I have a like really musical family. My brother's a musician. My dad, my mom, they love music. And it was always playing somewhere in some room or vehicle or whatever. So there was always music around. And I was always a music fan. I've been to many shows, many concerts, stuff like that. So, but it wasn't until like 6 years ago, that I was like, well, I got a little slow with acting. You're waiting around, for a part, and I'm like, well, I should finally go for it and start a band, and I saw a niche there. Like, it's like, oh, female fronted rock bands are, kind of far and few. I mean, they're there, they're around, but maybe they don't always last, or they're, whatever. So I really wanted to see if I could start a rock band. And initially I wanted to have an all girl band. I tried that. It did not work. So
Well, it's hard, isn't it?
what?
All girl bands, they're tough.
Yeah, these chicks are a pain in the ass. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Love them though. It just didn't work out. I don't know why. Maybe there's too many ideas. I found that a lot of the female musicians I've like collabed with and stuff, we're just like full of ideas. Maybe that's what it is, because we all have like so many ideas, and it's like we all want to do everything, So anyway, I found a group of guys that we really gelled together, and we meshed, and it's kind of like magic, and you kind of start jamming, and you bounce ideas off, and it's like, and then they finish a thought, or they finish a line or a phrase, and then it's like, it's really a magical kind of a collaboration to make music, that you.
Now, when you were younger, I mean, did you ever songwrite when you were younger? Did you ever put down lyrics in a notepad or what have you, or were you just too busy modeling for something like that?
I would always be drawing and writing stuff. I do remember writing my first song. How did it go? Oh God, I can't remember it now. I'll think of it. I do remember writing my first song in the alley of my where we lived in Minnesota. So yeah, I've always been singing and like making up, like me and my brother always like made up like alternate lyrics to like famous songs, like like we would do all that all the time. So and he had a drum set and I was like a lead singer, just kind of, but I wasn't really serious about it. But yeah, but I've always been writing stuff, writing poetry, writing just thoughts and stuff like that. I've got like a million like ideas in the iPhone. Every time I get like an idea or a melody, I'll just like record it and stuff like that. So yeah.
Your modeling days. How old were you when you would? Well, tell me specifically, but how old were you? Were you still a teenager when you were out and about? I mean, how did your parents feel about you traveling international, or were you, or did they have any qualms at all?
I don't. I mean, I don't think they really had a choice in the matter. It's like I was.
But it wasn't one of those things. It wasn't one of those things, Natalie. We totally trust you. Whatever you do, you go fly. You fly. You go.
Yeah, she's gonna fly. She's a butterfly. She's gonna fly. Yeah, when I had wings, as soon as I got wings, I flew. So I think they kind of just accepted that and hope for the best. I don't know. Maybe they were like, like a white knuckling the whole time. I don't know. Maybe I made their life torture. Like, but I don't know. I hope not. But yeah. I mean, I've always been pretty courageous and sort of, trustworthy, I guess. I just trusted my gut, and I trusted my gut.
Do you trust people?
Sorry?
Do you trust people?
Generally, no, but I trust myself. I trust my gut. Trust other people? No.
Yeah. I sort of picked up on that. I thought that's like, I wonder. I think, I mean, but you trust you trust the people close to you, your bandmates, the people who matter. You trust them. But overall, though, you're a little bit wary. Now, is that because of the travels that you did? I mean, traveling international, modeling, and everything else. Did everybody want a piece of you for their different projects? Come over to London, come over to Paris. I got to. Was it really hard to sort of get your in your own headspace, your own personal space, without a feeling invaded all the time when you're modeling?
Yeah, completely. Yeah, and that kind of comes with the territory of that job. Yeah.
And prepared. Do you think it prepared you for for acting?
Oh yeah, for sure. You have to take chances. I mean, acting is taking chances, and not being afraid to fail, taking chances, saying yes, doing something, taking the opportunities that come to you, when maybe other people would be trepidatious or unsure. It's like, I'm a risk taker in a sense. Yeah, I would say sure.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. You got that. You definitely get that motor to go forward. That drive, which is it's a really good thing to have. It's good to have for one career, but you're doing two. So to have that, to have that dual career coming on at the same time, that takes a lot of energy. And you got to stay focused and you got to stay hungry. And it sounds like you're doing really, really well. I listened to your band's music. I listened to Kill My Coquette. I liked it. It's definitely something I would have booked.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, I would have booked that in a heartbeat.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had like this whole long list of like band names in my phone. Like I literally was like, when I decided I was going to start a band, I was like, what's the name going to be? Right. It's like, that's like the fun part about starting a band is like the name, And so I literally have like months and months and like, or just like days, all these. And it's just like, I finally came to like coquette is French for flirt. And I kind of like the 60s aesthetic. I wish I was around back then. I think that whole aesthetic, fashion wise, music wise, was like the best decade ever, the 60s. So coquette is kind of like a 60s term for, flirt, like a Brigitte Bardot was a coquette. So, So I kind of have that kind of vibe. I like that name. Yeah.
I think Catherine Devenot was working back there as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Leah Massari was back there. Yeah, there's a lot of great French actresses back there.
Yeah.
Is that your biggest influence in how you in you is as far as your influence go? Do you think it's the French cinema, the French culture that was your biggest influence in your how you see things, or is it more international? Is it everything of everybody?
I really love the 60s. I love that decade, aesthetic wise. I love it musically, art wise. I also love the 70s as well, like going into, British punk, New York punk, Detroit punk, MC5. So I kind of
Recognize.
Yeah, I like those. I like both those decades just as much. Like they're different, but I kind of put a little of this and a little of that. I think in my songs, there's a little touch of New York Dolls. There's a little touch of Joan Jett. There's a little touch of, Ramones. Some of so I kind of take from various places for my inspiration.
Okay. I know. Okay. We're confused. And we're not going to talk about it, but we're just confused. So who got settled today? Everybody's saying, I thought you guys did you guys settle today, or am I just seeing that wrong? Am I wrong with that?
I think the writers came to an agreement.
Okay, so it's just the writer. Okay, that's all I want. I thought it was both for some reason. I was so happy. I was like, oh yeah, now we can celebrate. Okay, a little bit longer. Oh well, we're still in it. We're still supporting you.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was your favorite bands growing up?
Let's see.
Did you follow bands more than you did actors, or was it about equal?
Probably about equal. I mean, Courtney Love was probably my biggest inspiration. She was lead singer of Hole. Courtney Love was probably my biggest inspiration. But I listened to Janis Joplin and Joan Jett, Madonna, of course. Like everyone in the Midwest back in the day was like, it's like a lot of top 40. And we didn't have like Spotify then, so it wasn't. You didn't get like this specific kind of. I didn't get into the Velvet Underground till I probably left Minnesota. Like I didn't. It's like so once I went to Europe, once I got out of this little small town, then it was just like then I heard everything. It's like then I got to really see everything too.
Wow. So was your growing years pretty small town, pretty restricted. So like when you did get that breath of fresh air, oh my gosh, you must have your mind must have been blown. Your creative mind must have been blown once you started hearing all these different bands and seeing all these different movies. Wow.
Yeah, I come from a really small town. I think maybe 30 people in the graduating class. So, there's a few of us that left, and maybe it's a really small town. Yeah, there were two schools, like public and a private school, and I went to the Catholic school. So,
so you're a good Catholic girl then.
Sure. So was Madonna.
I can see you wearing a habit and with these and being a very all chaste. I mean, why not?
That's another movie.
Not the Catholic nun, right? You definitely would be your patron saint would be the Saint Spitfire. I like it. I like it a lot.
Night of the Nun. Yeah.
So let's talk a little about some of the movies. What was the one? Was there any defining moment? You said 5 years old, you want to be a movie star. Was there a defining moment that you want? Was there an actor or a movie or a TV show that you saw that said, you know what, I want to do that? Was there any defining moment for you? Or
yeah. Well, it was a little later, but many actresses. But specifically Sharon Stone is my after I saw her performance in Casino, it was just I was like, wow, I got to do that. That was so good. She's so good. If I could play that, if I could do that, with those people and Marty Scorsese directing me or Quentin Tarantino directing me, and You know, that performance is just mind blowing. Yeah, that was. Yeah, but I watch old movies all the time. Betty Davis is huge, like Greta Garbo, Betty Davis.
Nice. Myrna Loy?
Yes.
If I wasn't married, that would probably be it. That would be it. I'd be on the first thing smoking right now. So Myrna Loy, right? All right. I love it. I love it. What about Joe Crawford?
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Lauren Bacall.
Yes, Lauren Bacall, Hedy Lamarr.
Oh, Hedy Lamarr was smart as hell, wasn't she? People sleep on that. She actually created technology that we use even today in the Navy.
Yeah, for Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah. She created Wi-Fi essentially, or the technology for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now you're modeling. Is modeling, is that a finite thing, Natalie? Is that just something that you do for a short amount of time as sort of use that as a launch pad? I mean, modeling seems like a very, very short and fast career, like you're considered old at 24, you're discovered at 16, you're a supermodel at 20, and you're out at 24. If your daughter came up to you and said, "Mom, I want to be a fashion model," would you be okay with that, or would you sit there and tell her to encourage her to go somewhere with a little bit more of with a I guess more balanced career? Would you let your daughter, if she wanted to model, would you let her do that based on your experience, or would you advise her not to?
If she had the same drive that I do, you can't stop her. I mean, you can't do that. You can't. I wouldn't want to stop someone if they really wanted something that bad. You have to go and try it. You have to, You have to do it, because you'll regret not trying.
I mean, I guess you could give her, like, okay, you're going to do this.
Yeah, you sure, try to, encourage her other things. But if it always comes back, it's in here and there's nothing you can do. I don't think I got my first, no, I think my first cover was I think it was 22 or 3 when I got my first cover, but my biggest cover so far was like 32. So I don't think the age thing, I don't think anymore that's really
I don't either. Honestly, it used to be that way, but now, I mean, you got supermodels from from back then. I mean, Kim Alexis is still doing it. Paulina Porzakova is still doing it. They're still out there modeling. I mean, they're still bringing the noise. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a expiration date as it used to be. Because when I was doing it, like you had to stand in line at open call in the hallway. You're all nervous. It's like, they make you stand. It's like, and then you have to go, and if you don't hit the mark on the wall, you have to be 5'9", or you're out. So if you didn't hit the ceiling, the mark on it, so then you're like, and I'm just under that. So I was always like trying to seem bigger and taller. And if you were over 24, you left. If you were under 5'9", you go. If you were over a size 2, you're out. Like it was like really, really, really hard when I was doing it. But this is like high fashion, like runway stuff too. So
now, I'm just curious. When that happened, when they told you out, who was telling you? Was it a man or a woman telling you?
I think both.
Man, for some reason, I just could not. I just can't. I just don't think it's right for a man to do it. If a woman's going to tell you, it'd be one thing, because she could understand their perspective. But man, having a guy up there telling, "Yeah, you're not good enough," I just no, thank you.
No, it's absolutely brutal. And then I had one agent, and and the top agencies were brutal too. I mean, they're not. There's nobody that I ever remember being kind or anything at all in that business at all. But I had one agent she was this big agent, and she would literally go over the proof sheets, after the photographer, because that's when they shot with films. People still shot with film and digital, but you go over the proof sheets and she'll literally like circle on your picture, like, see this right here, you're like your arm, it's like a little thing of fat or something. And she's like, that's got to go. She'd circle it with her you know, and if you're not like a tough, like, you know, some girls would leave crying, that'd be it. You know, they'd never do anything. But I was like, okay, you know, whatever, that's fine. I didn't take it personal. I was like, that's just the way it is. And I want to be at that level. So I'm going to do what she says to do. I mean, it was more like, okay, what do I have to do? Bum, bum, bum. You know, ABC. Okay. Did it? Okay. Yes. Okay. Then. Okay. Okay. You know, to me, it was just, that's part of the drill. You know, that's part of the job. So.
Right. So after you left modeling, you came back and you're going to do acting. So did you go back to Minnesota first, or did you go from from London to LA? Where did you come from before you went to Los Angeles?
I think I bounced around like LA and then London, and then back to LA. Yeah, I was in London, then Paris, and then back to LA.
I want to see your passport.
You should. My passport is crazy. My passport is crazy, and I actually got what do you call it? Rejected from the airport from because because at the time I was just doing like under the table, like I didn't have a work permit, right? And immigration, they deported me. That's the word, deported me. It's so long ago now, it doesn't matter if they're listening. Hey, you know, Gatwick Airport. But anyway, the immigration, and so I was traveling. So every 3 months you have to leave because it was like a student visa, right? And so, but I was really working there. I wasn't really a student, I was working there. But I didn't have a permit. And so modeling at the time was like all under the table. You know, nobody really got work permits for modeling. It was just, you know, cash on the table. And one time I had come through and I was tired and jet lagged. And I was kind of, you know, attitude, and like they look through my stuff and then they see like a cover of a British like magazine. And they're like, you know, what's this? You know, you working here? You know, and I'm like, no, you know, they're like, yeah. So then that started this whole thing, and I was defensive, and then I was just in a bad mood and jet lagged, and then they pulled me over and then like tried to send me back, and it was a big mess. So yeah.
I would like to see you. I would like to see you sort of like you know, kicking ass. You know, like
they put like handcuffs on me and like on my feet. I'm like, I'm just a model. You know, it's like, it's so dumb. I'm sure I was like tired. I just didn't want to deal with them, and like, let's get out here or whatever. I don't know.
How do you deal with stress now? I mean, is it? I have a feeling when I'm talking to you. I think I have a feeling like when you're home and you're stressed and whatnot. Why do I have a feeling you're either grabbing a pen or you're grabbing a guitar?
Yeah, you're right.
Is a pen? Okay. Yeah. You seem totally like the person who would just sit there and write it out or grab the guitar and play it out. You know, you just seem like that bad personality. Do you ever read scripts? When you get sent scripts, do you read them? You know, sometimes to de-stress. Does that help out?
Yeah, I do. I do a lot of reading. Writing, reading, thinking. I do a lot of thinking. You know, it's like songs. It's like songwriting. Somebody says, "Well, how do you write songs?" I don't really know. Like it's thinking first. It's like you kind of wait for the thought. So you know, I can't just go, okay, I'm going to write a song today. You know, it doesn't work that way. It has to come. I have to be filled up with something first to emote it, to put it out. So it's like, there's a lot of like sitting around, you know, thinking. Really, it's like walking or working out. You know, I'm always thinking of the song or thinking of the, you know, the melody or whatever. So I do a lot of like in the shower too. Actually, I get a lot of ideas in the shower. So it's always like being an artist. You're always like waiting for that great idea. You know, like whether it's a song or for a part of a movie or an acting or a script, it's ideas. It's like the ideas, you know, that's what you want, as a really good idea. And then you go, that's a great idea for a character. I'm going to write a short film around that. I'm going to make, you know, and that's how my short film Caroline came out. I was just kind of sitting around. I thought of this idea, and then I made this film, and I entered it into the Roger Corman Quarantine Film Festival. I didn't win, but I got a lot of awards for it, and it's actually screening. It was just accepted as a entry for the Arizona Night of Horrors. If you're in Arizona anytime, October 20th, it will be screening that night at the Jimmy Davis Music Place in Tolleson. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So
Which city? Tucson? Is it in Tucson?
It's called Tolleson. It's right outside of Phoenix.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if it was Tucson, I just have you go over there to the tea house, Senate Leaf Tea House, and drop our name.
Oh.
You probably get a nice tea out of it.
Okay. Okay.
Ask for Shane, and then drop the name and say, "Yeah, I did 8 questions with. I hear you did one." I'm sure there'd be instant tea right there.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. Yeah. Well, next time I'm in Tucson, I will do that.
Do you like networking? I mean, because the musician's bloodline, it's networking. It really is. I mean, musicians are always out there. They're always schmoozing. They're always, checking out other bands or whatnot. Do you like doing that? Do you like doing that? Going out there and intermixing with different people, or are you more of a homebody?
I'm a Gemini, so there's there's moments for both. So when I don't want to do that, I hate it, and I don't want to do. But when I'm feeling like, I want to be around people, I want to socialize, I want to get out, I want to start, I want to meet, I want to go see the show. It's literally like a switch. So, I both. To answer your question, both.
Now,
sometimes I don't,
Right. No, I agree with that. I used to go out a lot, but yeah, sometimes I did. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. How many? And like I noticed, your band has a lot of videos out. How many of these videos did you come up with the idea and direct it, or tell the story?
All of them.
Yeah, I had a feeling about that. I'm looking at them all here and going, that's a lot of videos, and basically it's music videos or short films.
Our first video for a song I wrote called Third and Bonnie Bray. My manager at the time knew Stephen Bauer, who played Manny in Scarface. And so I was like, "Ooh, that'd be great. Would he be in the video?" And so he did. So he agreed to be in the video for Third and Bonnie Bray. And he was Al Pacino's brother in Scarface, if you've seen it. He plays Manny. And so that was really fun to do that, because we made it like a short film kind of. We made the video like a short film.
I mean, when you guys started making your videos, were you a little surprised me? Because I think a lot of people think that the music video as we know it, I think they think it's a dead medium, but I don't think it's dead. I just don't think it has an outlet anymore, like other than YouTube. I think people decided it's like going to a radio station. Like it used to be like, I'm going to get a major label deal and get played on commercial radio. That was the goal, right? But now you don't have to do that. Now it's like commercial radio can I got Spotify, I got all these different platforms. I no longer need to be signed to a major label to get my sound out.
Right.
And a lot of these major labels, they're not even making physical records anymore. They're not even doing that. And some of them are just straight up, I'll sign you and then I'll put you on streaming. We'll digital albums. Do you guys not? I see all the music videos that you do, but did you also release your music out on physical form, like cassettes or CDs, records, 7 inches?
Yeah. We have CDs, and I started making cassettes recently too to sell at the merch table at my shows. But CDs are always like, even if you don't have a CD player, at least a lot of fans like to just have it in their hand. It's like something physical to have. Mm-hmm. They'll find some car somewhere who's got a CD. Someone has one.
I have a CD player in my car.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So
I don't want to do anything else than that.
They're super, cheap to make. They're not expensive to make. But I've made cassettes though recently. I have 3-minute cassettes. There's like 3 minutes on each side, and so that's kind of a cool thing. I've been to a lot of the Strokes concerts, and they do that. They do like a lot of the cassettes, like they look like they're handwritten with like tape or whatever, like on the tape.
Right. Right. Yeah, they used to sell cassette singles all the time at Blockbuster and Best Buy. You go in there and you pay 2.99. It was just like a 7-inch record.
Yeah,
You get two songs per record, and the same thing with the cassette. Oh, that's
yeah.
so cool.
I would like
That's
to make vinyl though. Like I'm waiting to finish our next album. I'm thinking of doing, either a 7-inch or a 45.
Uh, Let me catch up with the chat here real fast. I'm trying to do this super fast, so I'm going to ask more questions here in a second. I want to say hi to everybody that's come in. I see that Katie has come in, and I see Echo is here. Oh, the mighty Ice Lord himself has graced us with his presence. Hello, Ice Lord. Hobbs Horror, get ready for the big game today. See, the Strokes are fantastic. Like them, Dropkick Murphys. And Kiss, yeah, I love Dropkick Murphys. What's your favorite punk band, Natalie?
Rancid.
That's
Rancid.
it. I'm flying. I'm catching the first thing. Okay, so my friend Lars plays in that band.
That is their new album. I've got on repeat. I cannot stop playing it. The new
Yeah,
album.
Lars Fredrickson and I were friends.
Oh, yeah.
I saw him. Yeah, yeah.
Their new
Yeah,
album. I'm telling you, I was about to fly to Boston last Tuesday because it was their last show, or at least for now, just supporting this album. I was like, I gotta go see this live because I got like on the bandwagon late with this album for some reason. I was like, it was out for a few months now, and I just didn't. I was like, oh, eventually. Then I started listening to it. I was like, oh, whoa, it's holy shit, it's so good. Every single track is so good. I'm telling you, you got to get the new Rancid album. It's so good.
I love Rancid. Yeah, Tim Armstrong brought in brought in Lars. Yeah, that guy's a hero. I was grateful. Lars was a great guy, great guy.
Yeah, I've never met him, but I met Tim. Yeah.
Wow. See what happens when you guys come in and watch the show. See how exciting it is. You know what though? But now would be a perfect time before we seg back into Caregiver. I'd like to know if you'd like to drop a song on us.
Yeah, I can do a song. Actually, this song was inspired by a Rancid tune called Olympia. And this was probably the first one I wrote, like when I got a guitar and did all that. And I was like, oh, Olympia. It's like hanging on the corner of 52nd Broadway. It's like, oh, that's great. I want to write an intersection song. So that was the challenge to myself. I was like, I want to write an intersection song. So I wrote this song called Third and Bonnie Bray, which is about this really shady intersection in downtown LA. It's called Third Street and Bonnie Bray. Third and Bonnie Bray is the name of the song. All the junkies had it made. They didn't have to work, they always got to play. How did I know I'd be like them someday? Take it away, stuff it down. Don't wanna be queen, take away my crown. It's all work, I just wanna play. I'll see you down the Third and Bonnie Bray. Lost girls, we aren't afraid. We know the game, yeah, I know how to play. Find your daddy on the street, let him know you gotta be, yeah. Take it away, stuff it down. Don't wanna be queen, take away my crown. It's all work, I just wanna play. I'll see you down on Third and Bonnie Bray. Take my advice, you'll learn. If you're gonna live fast, it's a slow burn. So Johnny Thunders, if you wanna be, you're gonna die at 38. Definitely, yeah, take it away. Stuff it down. You wanna be queen, take away my crown. It's all work, I just wanna play. I'll see you down Third and Bonnie Bray.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So that's how I wrote it with the acoustic, and then of course the big rock sound on the final recording is the full
Right,
band. So,
right. That's
yeah,
you got a
just
beautiful
power
voice.
chords, 3 power chords. Yeah, 3 power chords or 4 power chords, 3 minutes. That's all you need.
Yeah, that would fit right on radio
Yeah.
if it mattered.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Um, uh, you started acting. You've been in some really fun things. I've noticed. I just saw this. Now. You're on NCIS, and you played a role on NCIS, and we just heard that David McCallum passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he had a great run. He had an awesome run.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of people remember him from NCIS. I'm an old fart, so I remember him from The Man Called Uncle, The Man from Uncle. Oh my gosh, you got a cat. Oh, that's it. That's it. Look at wow. What's your cat's name?
Candy darling.
Candy, darling. Oh, it's a Sphinx, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's an odd-eyed Sphinx, which is like, you know, the David Bowie eye. He's got one. They're different.
Blue, one green.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Does he talk a lot?
No, he just sleeps a lot mostly, but
He's just doing cat things.
he's watching birds, you know.
So, when did you meet Joe and Alexander? Was it for a gunfight at Rio Bravo? Was that the first time you met them? And
Yeah.
how did you end up getting the role in Gunfight? Did you have to audition for it?
No, I think there was an actress that was already cast, and then that kind of fell through. I don't really know the details, but so they were looking for a replacement, I believe. And I know the screenwriter Craig Hammond, and he had suggested me to Alexander, the producer, and Joe, the director, and I think he sent my materials and, you know, sent my reel and my resume and stuff, and, you know, put in a good word for me, I'm assuming. And that's how I got it. I read the script, and you know, Joe they both graciously offered me the role. So, and that was really fun to do, you know, Western. Yeah, we shot it in Arizona in the middle of summer, which is like not maybe the smartest thing to do, but we got to do it, you know. There's something kind of, you know, organic and like actually real about that, though, because, you know, back in the day, you know, they wore those kind of clothing in this kind of weather. I mean, that's just how you lived, you know, you just dealt with it. So it kind of made it feel really real. You know, the horses are there, you got suede leather on, you know. And
oh my gosh, yes. The costuming was on point. Yeah. I watched Rio Bravo. I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. It was such an old school throwback. And then what really got me excited was seeing Matthias Hughes on there.
Oh, he's so funny. I walked on set and I see these two giants. I was like, is that like a prop? I'm like, no, they're real people. And it was Alexander and Matthias. Yeah, I was like, what? There they are. I was like
they're big. They're big dudes.
Yeah, they're like bicep was like, you know, bigger than my head. Like it was like what do you guys eat? Like what? Like it's, you know,
anything they want.
Yeah.
How was the craft table out there though?
It was really good. Like mesquite, you know, smoked ribs, you know, mesquite, you know. I mean, yeah, no, it was great.
You know what that I think Alexander and Joe, I think they probably do everything first class all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They were really a great group to work with. Everybody was really fun on set. You know, the energy and in those instances when it is you know, warm like that or whatever, you know, people can sometimes get, you know, like ornery and like lazy, and, you know, they don't want to be complaining, but everybody was just having so much fun. And if you can have a great group of people that you like to work with,
right,
it's such a bonus, you know. I
can't imagine anybody have an attitude on set with those two around. Like, you know, bitching and complaining. Yeah, go tell that to Alexander. Go tell him your problem. Go tell him, you know, I would, you know, all of a sudden you look at that and you go like, you know, it's not a problem at all. I'm going to be good right here. But you know, I never really got that idea. I never got that sense when talking to them that sort of thing happens on their sets. I think their sets are run professionally and smoothly. They were so complimentary of you. They
Oh,
they were telling me they were doing when we talked about this. We They said that they had, because they were already talking about Caregiver while they were filming Rio Bravo. They were already talking about, they're laying it out as the filming was going on the one movie. They were already, working on the next one. And
oh,
they said that they said, you know what? Why don't we ask Natalie? They already had you in mind
oh,
for the
wow.
yes.
I'm glad I knew my lines then. I'm glad I was prepared.
Did you know that you had been handpicked for Juliet for Caregiver? Did you know that, or
Um,
did they
well,
come
I
talk to
was
you?
told that later, yeah, but not at the time. No, not when we were doing the Western. I had no idea about that. I didn't
Yeah.
know. No, but I was told, yeah, when they told me that was after, and they offered me that part, I was like, oh, this is gonna be good because I get to work with Eileen Dietz, from The Exorcist, and I get to be a good girl. I was like, oh, I get to be a good girl. I'm like, are you sure? I was like, which part am I reading for? Like, am I the monster or the? I was like, no, you're
But it wouldn't be the first time though a gorgeous actress has played a monster. I mean, there's Eileen back in the '70s when she did The Exorcist. You had Bonnie Aarons, who has made a name for herself playing the nun.
yeah,
So I mean, if you had to do that role, who, I don't think you would have. I don't think you would have skipped a beat. But I'm
no.
glad you got to play the good girl, because I thought you played the good girl extremely well. Um, you and Eileen, wow! Tell us about the first time you met each other. And did you know who she was? I mean, as a movie fan, did you know who she was
I did,
when
yes. Yes, I did. Yes. And yes, and that movie I remember watching that like back in the day. I think it was on cable or something. I remember throwing up afterwards. I remember I got sick. I
you
was at
got
like
scared?
yeah, no, I was just so like I think like psychologically disturbed. Like I got like it was it was like at a slumber party. I don't know. It's like, hey, let's watch The Exorcist. Like, yeah, of course, rah, and I was like, what have we done? It's just like
You got,
the
you
mood
got
just went like, whoa, because it's so terrifying. It's a shocking film to like,
Yes, yes. It still holds right where it was. I mean,
I
I watched it. I'd watched it like within the last 6 months. I was like, this is as good as it was today. That's the first time I saw it. It was
yeah,
so good. Um, wow, that's so cool that you threw up. That's the truth. That's true fandom though, Natalie.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I think it was great because I felt like we were really connecting a lot, and it's like, okay, so for me to play as an actor, I have to go, okay, how can I make this interesting? I don't want to be just one note, through the whole film, but if that's what the script calls for, and that's what the character has calls for, then I have to sort of follow that, roadmap, but a lot of times if you're if you're not the monster, then you're the one reacting, right? So the whole time I'm like dodging the bullets of what's coming up, or I'm on alert, I'm on the defense. So you have to find ways to kind of keep that same energy level, throughout the whole film. And I thought it was fun working with Eileen.
Oh, she
Um,
was fantastic.
yeah, she played it really. I mean, she's cool. You saw the film. She's cool as a cucumber, and I'm the one, dodging the bullets all the time. Like,
Wow.
what's going on? So it's an interesting like dynamic,
Yeah,
that
she was sensational. You guys really did well. I was blown away, and I told that to Alexander and Joe. I was so It was so cool that she got you guys shared the screen. It's basically really a two-person movie, you and Eileen. I mean, Joe and Eric off to the side, but it's you two. And and everybody here in our chat, we know this because we talk about this all the time, but it's always good to see an icon like Eileen actually get a freaking role that she can sink her teeth into, because a lot of the times she's in for a scene. A lot of these independent movies that have her come in for a scene and put her name on the box, and that's it. I mean, she's there for one scene in the whole movie, but
like
we got
yeah,
so they can do that. But
yeah,
she was really good. I mean, she was bringing the noise.
yeah.
Um,
It was was a really fun shoot. It was like, I was keeping myself like between takes, like you got to stay in it. You can't fall out. Or the minute they say action, it's all over. That you can tell in your face. So you got to like stay there. You got to stay there. You got to stay there. You got to,
Yeah, you did that. I mean, like I said, that was when you did makeup. When you did makeup, did you tell them not to do makeup on you, or did you tell them to? Because I mean, you really do look like I said, you really look like a damn nurse. You look like a hospital nurse. I've known a few, so I know the look. And
throughout the film to keep it, more authentic, and we want to look good, but we also want to be the character. And so as the movie goes on and progresses, as her anxiety progresses, as the danger level progresses, as the stakes are higher, etc. I think we said, let's let it just
you did get to unleash though at the end though. You got to be, you can see the fire at the end of it. You're like, oh yeah, I got something for you. And then the ending is like, oh yeah, you were like, yeah, I got you now. That was fun. What was it like? Sharon? Did you get to meet Eric Roberts? Did you get a chance to say hi to him?
No, unfortunately, I did not.
Yeah, but you got to work with Joe and Eileen, and tell us a little bit about that house. That house was almost like a third character of the movie.
Yeah.
How did you like that house? Was it hard for you? Was it hard getting around? Because the house seemed like it's big, but inside it seemed like it really was small. Was it small inside?
Well, yeah, like the corridors and the width of the stair, and I think that adds to the claustrophobia of the movie, of the story too. But yeah, there was a lot of small like turns and like smaller corners and narrow stairways and but this big house on this hill, and so the exterior shot is just this foreboding home, and then you come in and it's a little darker, a little shadowier, a little creepier, and so yeah, it did feel like another character. Yeah, it was a great location to shoot.
Now, was this your first true horror film that you've done in your career so far?
No, I was Lilith in Succubus Hellbent with Gary Busey. That was my first probably starring. I think I had introducing Natalie Denise Sperl as Lilith, so it was an introducing credit. It was a film called Succubus Hellbent with Gary Busey, Lorenzo Lamas, Kelly Hugh. She played the detective, and I'm like the lead in that, but I'm the bad girl. So that one was like, it was all me as this succubus, that goes around and wreaks havoc, so to speak.
So you had to wear makeup for that one, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, they had prosthetics. They had the whole thing, and towards the end, when I turn into the demon Lilith, they had the whole like face stuff and the wings and all that stuff, the teeth. I had like red contacts. I remember the producers like, hurry up. They were like waiting for a take, and they had to put these things that I couldn't see. I was like, help me. So like two people are trying to put these like red contacts in my eye for this last shot, and it was pretty intense. And I got to fly F-45 Czech 45 F fighter. I don't know how you say it, but one of those planes from Top Gun. And so so like the pilot was in the front, and then I was in the second seat, and there's this glass ceiling, and I'm in character, and I'm like, I've never done that before, but they're like, hey, if you don't want to do it, we'll get a stunt double to do it. I was like, no, this is another one of those times where you say always yes, because it's like I get these great stories, like you just don't get scared and say no. You say, of course I'm gonna do it, right? Because I want to have the story. So I get into this plane. It's like the glass ceiling and the thing. And at one point he's like, okay, I'm taking my hands off. It's all you. And I got to slowly, I didn't do a turn or anything, but I slowly, slowly, not like a circle.
Right.
Yeah.
So were you when they took off and they went straight up, was it nerve wracking? Did you pass out when you hit G?
No, I told the pilot because I really don't like that feeling of losing like the G force. So I just told him, I said, I'll do it if you promise you won't purposely do that. Like, I was like, vomit all over the glass ceiling of this plane. Like, don't He's like, I promise you, I can control it so it'll be so smooth. And he was right. He totally was.
You said you were in the back seat?
Well, there's two seats. Yeah. So
Right.
like, plane is like,
Yeah, I would if I was him, I would have said it. I would have done exactly what you told me to do, because if you're gonna throw up, you're gonna throw up from front. It's not gonna go like if you're in the front. If you're in the front seat,
yeah.
you're gonna be throwing up in front. But with and he won't get any of it.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting in the back and you get sick, his whole back of his head's gonna get it. So I'm sure he was very respectful of your wishes.
But I didn't get sick. I didn't get sick, thank God. But I was like, but part of me was like, oh gosh, I was kind of nervous. They're filming. They got cameras in there, on both sides. And it's like, you got to stay in character. So I was like, oh, and I started to get really scared. I was like, oh shit, but my character has to be like tough and sexy, and she can, so I'm like, oh, and I'm trying to do the lines like while I'm in the plane, but and eventually I got used to it, and it was a great scene. It was like this dog fight kind of with Lorenzo Lamas, and he's on the plane next to me, and I'm in that one. And then the next day they did the stunts and all that stuff, but
right,
it makes it look like I'm really flying it and Lorenzo's really flying it, but we're just
that's a great cast you got to work with.
Yeah, and Gary Busey was just crazy and
crazy,
being crazy Gary, and it was great.
But Lorenzo and Kelly Hu, I mean, man, I think any and all horror fans have a crush on Kelly Hu, right? I mean, yeah. So after the movie comes out, Night of the Caregiver, after comes out and is doing really, really well. Now, are you recording? Now that you're because I guess the strike's still going on now. Now that I know that, so what do you do now to keep yourself busy creatively? Is it just all about music? Like right now, or are you still being sent scripts
like
while the
songwriters?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you? Does your manager still send you scripts, Natalie? Even though the strike's still going on, do you still get them every week, and just patiently wait, or do you just focus strictly on the band?
I'm just focusing on the band right now.
Right. Yeah. How's LA? Does LA still got a lot of good places to play?
Yeah.
Where's your favorite venue? What's your favorite venue so far?
I like the Viper Room. I've always loved the Viper Room because it's just so small. I've just always liked it. The Whiskey Go Go is a great spot. The Roxy is what I really, really, really like. I haven't played there yet, but I want to play the Roxy.
Yeah.
And there's a great place downtown called the Terragram Ballroom. That's been around for, I don't know, 5-6 years now. Terragram Ballroom, downtown LA. It's a great venue. Their sound is amazing. Where else is good?
Have you guys thought about going on tour, or have you guys already done that yet? Maybe do a West Coast up and down, up and back.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do. We just need some of that.
It does help, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you think the residuals for acting are really low or nil, it's even less so for music. So
yeah, out of town bands that come in there, and you try to get at least $100 out of it. At least $100 for opening. A lot of times,
And most people say, "What? That's all? I'll forget it. Why do you even do it?" I'm like,
for the love of it,
for the fun of it. That's all.
Yeah, for the fun of it. Yeah,
all it is.
Yeah. I can't tell how many bands I booked that will come out on the road, and people say, "How come you touring?" He says, "Why not? It's fun." I mean, that's what I said. I was glad they were doing it. I met a lot of great bands that way. What band right now is your favorite? If you could open up for a band or co-headline with a band, what three bands would Natalie like to play with or open up for?
I'd like to open up for Rancid, Social D.
You were just on fire today, lady.
I know that but maybe something like a little bit not obvious, like how sometimes they put a bill together where they're slightly different types of bands. Like,
right.
I think like who would be a good non, rock sound or non-rock band, but yet still maybe like alt, but maybe not as like old school rock and roll? I'm trying to think.
I'm still trying to wrap my brain that Jennifer Nettles is going to be in the new Exorcist movie.
Oh, she is? Really? Do I know that? Did I know that? Oh yeah.
I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it. Like, so you're taking the Sugarland singer and you're putting her in the Exorcist. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great franchise. I mean, why would you, right?
I just like, I'm just thinking of all the actresses out there. I'm just thinking the last person, if someone came up there and says, who is the last actor, who you think will be the last performer that you expect to see in an Exorcist movie? I think Jennifer Nettles will probably be right there next to the last name on the list.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because I talked to a film director last week. I talked to Karen Lamb, and we talked about this. The Exorcist is actually being remade,
Yeah.
or extended, or the next chapter, the Exorcist Believer, and it's coming out. Let me ask you this: it's a perfect movie. If someone came up to you, because I asked Karen, so if they asked you to direct the movie, would you have directed it? And she says she would have passed on it. She says, I don't know if there's anything I could have done to make it any better. It's a perfect film. I don't know. I don't see anything I could do to make it better. As an actress, would you tackle a role in a movie like that, knowing full well that you'd be going up against Linda Blair and Ellen Burstyn? Would you accept that challenge, or would that be something that's like, I don't know how I could improve on it?
How much money are they offering?
Okay, you get good money. You get good money. You get leading lady money.
Then yes, I would take the challenge, knowing fully well I very well might fail because that is such an iconic role. But
I don't know if you would fail. See, that's the thing. I don't think anybody's going to fail. I don't, because I just think they're just going against the legacy. I don't think anybody's going to fail. I just think that you're going to be compared to it.
Right.
But it doesn't mean you fail. I mean, you put your performance in any other movie, and you're going to be like, holy shit, she kicked ass. But against a movie like The Exorcist or Jaws or E.T.,
you don't necessarily want to touch it, like right. Let's just maybe leave that. Yeah, I can see that too. I mean, that's the thing with bands though as well. It's like, oh, we should cover that song, and we covered the Metro, a Berlin song from the 80s. We covered the Metro, and I changed it. We changed it into kind of a jazzy verse, and then back into the rock kind of chorus, and we go back to the jazzy style in the verse. So we changed it because we're like, we're never gonna sound, even if we did it in the exact same tempo and same melody as they did, it's never gonna sound that way. So,
but you wouldn't want it to. You wouldn't want it to. You want to make it your own. This is our version of it.
Yeah, and that would be So I would say I would do it just for the challenge, just because I'm competitive. It's like, oh, what can I do with it? Let's see what happens.
I tell you what, we have time for one more song if you got it in you, and then I'll let you get out of here because I know you said you have company coming over, and I want you to be ready for company.
I don't know if I can remember this. Okay, I just wrote this, so it's called "The Wrong Crowd." How to talk, who to be. Pay attention to my words, screaming to be heard. We command into reality. We ain't losing this game they're playing with our lives. This ain't no time to cry. So drop the gavel, we unravel, hit the gravel. Countless miles we're gonna travel, yeah. Lock 'em up. Don't you know you're messing with the wrong crowd? You're messing with the wrong crowd. Don't you know you're messing with the wrong crowd? Yeah, you're messing with the wrong crowd. You won't accept, it's not allowed. You're messing with the wrong crowd. Hypocrites with the sticks hit a good lick yesterday when they caught for. Those women, turn them in, what a sin, but you bet you paid and I bet yours. Dinosaurs with some spine, cut the line and set the clock back and rewind. Tick tock. Listen, Jack set us back, we attack. Time to break these shackles. Smash them up. Don't you know you're messing with with the wrong crowd. You're messing with the wrong crowd. Don't you know you're messing with the wrong crowd? Yeah, you're messing with the wrong crowd. We won't accept, it's not allowed. You're messing with the wrong crowd. Whoa, you're messing with the wrong crowd. Whoa, yeah, you're messing with the wrong crowd. We won't accept what's not allowed. You're messing with the wrong crowd.
Nice. Very nice.
That's part
Very
of it.
nice.
Part of it. I'm still working on it.
That's all right. A work in progress is a work in progress is always good to see. And thank you for sharing that. I know a lot of artists there. I gotta have it done yet, but so I thank you for letting us take a peek into your process. Um, and thank you for coming out and hanging out with us. This has been absolutely a joy. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had fun too. And you can't wait to see what you come up with next. We will keep your eye on you, and we have all your socials down below, so people can follow you on Spotify. They can follow you. They can follow you on Instagram. They can follow you on Movie Database. If there's anywhere else you want us to list, we'll do that as well. Tomorrow night, before we get out of here, we'll be joined by our friend Ross Yerger. He will be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Ross is a podcaster. He works in law enforcement for 25 years, including 21 years as a Secret Service agent. And he will be our guest tomorrow night. That'll be a lot of fun. It will be. It's going to be a great interview. He's a good guy, and he's got some stories too. So that'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Thank you again, Natalie. Stay right where you're at. I'm going to say goodnight to the chat. Thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it so much. You guys rocked it out, and we will see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Peace.
Peace.